Well, not only are we stuck in our little relegation battle, but we've now got to do it without our two flying wing-backs from the last 2 years and our top scorer. This is just going to be marvellous fun. Hello and welcome to part 62 of the Bolton Battle. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have Easter weekend. It's Easter 2040, everybody. We're at home against Wolves and then away against Bristol Rovers. It would be very nice to get a couple of wins and just about secure safety if we can do that. We've been in some rather, I wouldn't say rather good form, but certainly staying up form. We've won 4 of our last 6 games, drawn 1 of the other ones, so we're only on 1 defeat in 6, and it's seen us fly up the league. We're currently sat on 44 points. Let's try and get this league table so we don't have to scroll it too much. So we're sat on 44 points with 8 games to go. It puts us 5 points clear of the relegation zone, and 2 more wins should be enough. 2 more wins gets us to that 50-point mark, which in theory is safety. So there's a chance that we could secure safety in this episode. In other news, I've just noticed that our final game of the season is at home against Ipswich. It's like it's written in the stars that this was always going to be the final season, so that is going to be the final game of non-league to legend. Bolton Wanderers against Ipswich Town on the last day of the season, followed by our full 25-year review and story of the season, of the blah blah blah, etc. etc. Keep your suggestions in the comments coming in for what we should do after this as well. Lots and lots of good comments came in yesterday. I've never seen an episode get so many comments so quickly. It is helpful. As some of you were saying, I will end up doing what I want, and it'll be something that is fun and interesting. But there's some really good ideas coming in as well that are intriguing me a little bit. We're definitely going to be doing something else. Don't panic, those of you that are. So, this is the team that we're going to be playing today in the first of the 2 games, this one against Wolves. So, we've got Jordan Barrett in goal. A back 3 of Joey LeBlanc, Madahali and Tierney, with Helio and Jennings as our wing-backs because both Tom White and Enrique Alonso are injured. We've then got O'Connell and Durant in midfield because we've got injuries there as well. Sean Jones is injured and Dennis Parnaby is also injured. Wayne Pennock comes in behind the front 2 because O'Connell can't play there because he's needed in midfield. And Robert Webber is going to partner Mark Parnell up front because Tomic and Leandrinho are both injured, which is just remarkably good news. Oh, I used my mute button. I wonder if you heard me cough. Who knows? Never used a mute button on video before. Ooh, that's fun. Right, let's submit this team. I mean, we're getting so desperate. We're having to add new squad numbers. Look, Russell Bye is going to be on the bench today. And George Squared, remember him? He never got a game, did he? Oh, George. Both him and Russell Bye making it into the team, well, onto the bench for today's episode, shows just how many injuries we're suffering from and how threadbare this squad is. The way players are going down with injuries, we really need to secure safety sooner rather than later, because I am a little concerned that by the time we get to that Ipswich game on the last day of the season, we're only going to have about 6 players left, and Ipswich are now top of the league in fact they were. Goodness me! The last time I looked at that, they were top of the league. Now they're 16 points behind Brighton. How the blooming heck has that happened? Shows how often I pay attention to that end of the league. Wow. I don't even understand how that's happened. Points deduction, maybe? Brighton just weren't that far ahead. I'm very confused. Let me know, where were they yesterday? Perhaps I just wasn't paying attention properly, but I am certain when I was sat playing the game this afternoon, Ipswich were top of the league, and Fulham were second, and Brighton were nowhere to be seen. Unless I just perhaps had it sat like that. And yeah, because I was looking at the bottom, I probably had it sat like that and Ipswich was second, which is as good as top when Brighton are that far ahead. It's a battle for second place, and Ipswich should be securing it because of all that money they spent. And it would be quite nice to let them secure promotion back to the Premier League on the last day of the season against us in the battle of the 2 clubs we've spent the most time at in this save, probably. Man City might run them a little bit close as well, I guess, but I don't think we're at Man City as long as we've been at either of Ipswich or Bolton. I don't think. Historians out there will probably know. Check my Wikipedia page. It doesn't exist. One day, eh? Right, 0-0 at half time. That was a really uneventful first half. Wolves are just edging it. They've had a clear-cut chance and more possession, but that's about it. I mean, we've had roughly the same amount of shots, more on target. We've not carved out that clear-cut one. And as usual, we're fouling like nobody's business and they're barely touching us because that's just how we roll. But offside, surely, maybe? Right, 3 dimensions. I don't see how that wasn't offside. Someone needs to explain the offside rule to me again. Don't let this be one of those things that gets us relegated, the fact that the game doesn't understand the offside rule as well as old Kev does. So let's watch this ball come in. There, he is a mile offside when that ball is played. There is injustice in the world, and it's in the shape of a goal by a man called Peter Watson for Wolves. 15 years, 25 years into the future. I forget what year it is. I'm getting old myself. Right, Parnell beats his man, does really well. Cross into Webber. That was absolutely brilliant from Mark Parnell. He has not done that often enough this season, but finally playing out as the poacher again. He beats his man. Perfect cross to Webber, and Webber, who's barely had a chance himself, equalises, and that was just really good forward play from both of our men up top. I am impressed. Is Mark Parnell trying to end the season as well as he started it 2 years ago? Right, we don't have any backup wing backs because they're both injured. Jennings and Healy are probably both going to get themselves sent off as well, just to make things doubly difficult for us in the Easter Monday game, which is only a couple of days away. So Alonso and White won't be back. Jennings and Healy will probably both be suspended and we'll have to play without any fullbacks at all. Let's bring Manning on for Tierney. What else can we do, really? Wayne Pennock shouldn't really be on the pitch. Let's bring Connor Key on for him. And then we can push O'Connell back up where he's supposed to be. And we can have Key and Durant together in midfield for the first time in rather a long time. Certainly the first time this season, surely. Connor Key, though, has been getting into the Ireland squad on a regular basis, or Northern Ireland, I forget which. But he does get full international call-ups. One of only 2 players in the squad who does. The other being Semedo, and both Durant and Parnell get called up to their respective under-21 teams. Parnell was playing regularly for Wales, but seems to have dropped back down as everyone's figured out that he's actually probably not yet even a championship striker. He just banged in a lot of goals lower down, and he hasn't really made the step up yet. Right, O'Connell is struggling a little bit. John Jones can come on for him. Goodness me, it's been a long time since we saw John Jones. This is how threadbare things are getting. I mean, Russell Baye is next in the queue to come on. I know he can't come on stage. We've made our 3 subs, but there should be no way a player like Russell Baye is anywhere near this team now. But apparently he is, and John Jones is still there as well. Glenn Jennings is still there. We've got some players who've made some appearances for us now. Don't do this now, Wolves. Come on, we're down to the bare bones. And we've given away a penalty from Mr. Patreon himself, Joey LeBlanc. £350,000 well spent. Concedes a last-minute penalty. And, well, it's not last minute, it's still 10 minutes to go. But all the same, they've hit the post! And Manning gets in to clear. Right, that should be enough to spur us on to go nab a winner at the other end. Why haven't we got Wayne Pennock on the pitch anymore? He's your man for last-minute winners. But, I don't know, Parnell's due a goal. Durant always seems to just pop up when it's massively important. How important would it be to nab a goal here? Oh, Barrett with a fantastic save. Right, Wolves have been all over us in this second half. Looking at the stats, they've now had 4 clear-cut chances and 3 times as many shots as us and are still dominating possession. But somehow we got back into the game and we are hanging on. Can we mug them right at the death? Helio crosses in. It's a poor cross and their keeper collects it rather easily. But Madahali wins the header. Key wins in midfield as well. John Jones finds Webber. Webber scores a goal! We're 2-1 up against Wolves, and that could be the goal that secures Bolton, that's us, that secures Bolton's place in the Championship for another season. I have let the players know that it won't be with me in charge, but goodness me, do they want to stay up at this level. It's a bunch of League 2 players who never expected to make it this far, and what a result. That is 5 wins in our last 7 games. We're in playoff form now. Can we get in the playoffs? No. If we could, would I have stuck around? Ooh, now there's a question. Right, now we're playing against relegation rivals, Bristol Rovers. Let's go and do that. Yeah, sorry, I may have pressed the space bar one too many times and not had a chance to make any changes at all. Not sure if I would have made any, but I guess we won the last game. Who cares? Silly me, eh? So we're away against Bristol Rovers. Bristol Rovers are second bottom, well, joint bottom with Posh. So one would like to think that they should be a team we're capable of beating, especially in the form that we're in. And if we do beat them, that puts us to the magical 50-point mark. And in theory, safety. Certainly with what will be 6 games to go, I think. 50 points with 6 games to go. We'd actually be, stop this talk, Kev, we'd actually be nearer to the playoffs than to relegation points-wise. No. We've got to win today first. Stop you. Oh, imagine if we got promoted, though. What on earth would I do then? Good job, Bristol Rovers scored, really, because then I don't have to make a decision. If I got promoted, would I still resign? There's your question for the day. Of course I would. I don't really know. It's not going to happen anyway. Don't stop talking about it. Stop thinking about it. In other news, I've just checked the club finances. We're £2.5 million in the red, and the club financial status is insecure. So regardless of what happens this season, what happens with me, I imagine Bolton are going to be right back where they've always been in the history of this save, and for the 4th time in 25 years. Administration is looming for this football club, and I don't really understand why. We've never really spent big on transfers. We're always well within our wage budget. Helio's now been sent off. What a moron. We don't have any other wing backs at the club. I think we're going to have to do 3 at the back with a diamond. Jennings is going to come off. Have we got anyone who can play holding midfield? We can't even do a diamond. We're going to have to do a flat 3 in midfield with Connor Key coming on. It's like a butchered version of the old Ipswich. In fact, let's do the old Ipswich. Everything old Ipswich style. Further forward. So what is it? Roaming playmaker. And box-to-box midfielder. And trequartista. And then we go complete forward here. This is ridiculous. Why am I doing this? But just do it with a back 3. So let's take off look for overlaps. We've got no one to overlap, and we want to exploit the middle, not the flanks. And I guess we want to be fairly narrow. Actually, no, let's stay normal, balanced, whatever it's called. And, yeah. Let's see if that gets us back into the game, eh? No wide players at all at the club. It's ridiculous. What has the world come to? Our wide players just get injured constantly. Right, if it ends as it is right now, we're pretty much where we were at the start of the episode, 5 points clear of relegation, because obviously the team breathing down our necks is the team we're playing today, Bristol Rovers. So this defeat just about cancels out the win against Wolves, as impressive as that was. Not ideal. We'd obviously rather be ending the episode closer to the playoffs than to relegation, because it's nuts. But, you know, if we end the episode no worse off than when we started, I suppose that's not a disaster either. And it still gives us 6 more games to get those final 3 points to get us to the magical 50-point mark. Jordan Barrett has just made another impressive save. What a player that man is. In other news, again, I know we've done several other newses already today. In addition to the 25-year end of save thing, I think what I am going to do is just auto holiday or whatever it's called, and perhaps go 5 years into the future, just so that we can see how these lads get on, how Bolton get on without me. And we'll do that as another episode as well. So I'm going to milk this bad boy for everything that it's got before I finally let go. And then we decide what we're going to do for a new save. Joey LeBlanc, what a waste. Oh dear. Oh dear. Joey LeBlanc, what are you? Ever since we renamed you, you've been turd. Sorry if you are Joey LeBlanc, the Patreon man, who caused him to have his name change. But the player we picked for you, I thought it was fairly safe picking our record signing. But no, he's just rubbish. and he's part of the reason why the club's going to go into administration and he's flirting with relegation, because if we hadn't have spunked all that money on him, we'd have had so much spare to spend on other players. Oh, we're getting hammered now by a team we should not be getting hammered by, and it's because of this silly formation. Whoever thought this was a good idea? We don't have any options to change it though. In actual fact, rather than bringing Manning on, should we have a look at George Squared? He's been at the club for about 14 years. I'm pretty sure he's never played a game for us. Let's have a look at him. So George Squared, he's now 22 years old. He has been with us, oh goodness me, since the League Two days. Look at all these loan spells that he's had. Never played for Bolton Wanderers. He spent most of this year on loan at Canvey Island in the conference. He's played the odd League Two game here and there, for Stockport before he joined us, and for Canvey Island, who obviously got relegated, then took him on. Get him in the team. Why is he... What? I don't understand. Why is he... Is he injured already? What's happened? Can we just confirm it? I don't know what that red means. What does the red mean, everybody? I mean, George Squared is on the pitch. Don't tell me we've just fielded in an ineligible player or something ridiculous like that, because surely the game would stop you from doing that or let you know that was happening. Right, O'Connell to Key. O'Connell again. What a way to make your debut as well. You've been at the club for years. You're a young lad who's never played at this level, so you make your debut in defence in a system like this. The full-back free system. Right, Webber did well to beat his man there. Pennock into Parnell. Parnell has pulled one back. It's offside. Well, it looked pretty. We played all right doing it, but Parnell just couldn't quite hold on to his run. Joe O'Connell is shattered. Have we got anyone who can come on for him? John Jones, you're back on again. 2 games in a few days. Oh, no, not centre-back. Goodness gracious me, what are we doing? I tell you what, forget that. Russell Bye. We're never going to see him again. This is the last you're ever going to see Russell Bye. You got 15 minutes. Enjoy him, because he was a wonderful man, and we've tried to sell him about 400 times in the 2 years since he last properly played any kind of football for us. But back down in League Two. What a player Russell Bye was. And wouldn't it be nice for him to grab a goal in the Championship now? Right, we're into the last couple of minutes. It's still only 2-0, 3-0, surprisingly. Smooth. Didn't even notice that happening, did you? Did very well. Right, let's have a look at this. It's not a disaster. We don't care about your replay. It's not a disaster because of that good run of form we were on leading into it. And I just hope that having an absolute battering like this doesn't then make everyone all sad and not want to carry on playing as well as we have been recently. Another phenomenal save from Barnett. Look at the amount of clear-cut chances a rubbish old team like Bristol Rovers have managed to put together against us, because our system has just been set up to let them attack us with no response. Because why not do that? I mean, to be fair, we are down to 10 men as well. Right. Not a disaster. Onwards and upwards. We shall be back again tomorrow with, hopefully, we'll be able to secure our place in the Championship tomorrow. That'd be rather pleasant, wouldn't it? If you've enjoyed that episode, make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and thank you very much for watching.